Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of The Mindful CEO. I am your co host, Chris Angel, joined by
Mm.
my other co host, Aaron Hendon. Hello, sir.
Hola, another
Hola.
episode. Hola, another episode. Getting ready to launch. Very exciting. Seems like we do this
We're
every week.
over 120 episodes. I want you to know, Aaron. You
Come
probably didn't know that, but
on. I did not know that. I don't count.
in
Um,
4 years,
but I've been
120
posting them
episodes.
on Substack. Do you know?
Oh, good for you. You
Mindful
have a
CEO is
Substack.
on
Good for you.
Substack. Yes,
Good for you.
yes. We're making fun of it, Kushal, because I feel like being on Substack is the new D. You should come
Name
check out the
dropping.
DJ set. Down at the bar on Thursday. I'm on Substack.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
on Substack.
Uh, but it's great to see you, Kushal, again. I appreciate your being here. Everyone, this is Choksi, right?
Yeah.
Is that how
Yes.
you say it? Did I say it
Yeah,
right?
Choksi.
Choksi.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. We were having a great conversation in the green room before the show started. Let's go back to that and really give you an opportunity to tell people who you are and the kind of work you've been doing and the kind of difference you want to make, and then we will jump in because there were just a ton of things that were fascinating and useful about that. So
Sounds
thanks for
good.
being here.
Guys, thank you. Aaron, Chris, thanks for having me. My name is Kushal and I'm an entrepreneur. I've just before getting here, as we were discussing my background, my education is by education, I'm a structural engineer, but I also studied computer science and finance. And I worked on Wall Street as a trader, as a portfolio manager. I've had my own tech startup, and now I make chocolates. I'm a chocolatier. My wife and I have a chocolate startup that creates mindful and healthy yet good for you food, which is much needed in the current days and times.
Love that.
And yeah, I've always followed my heart and done things that I've always wanted to do. And I guess an act made easier by my practice of breathwork and meditation, which, believe it or not, gives you the strength and ability to listen to the inner voice, which is always there, but often the force of the world is too strong to be able to hear it clearly.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow.
That's we love that. So I don't want to step over. Come on, man. You make chocolate. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. That seems to be. See, my inner voice talks about eating chocolate all the time. I'm constantly thinking, oh, I should get some chocolate. Although I just started a 2 week panchakarma at home panchakarma, so I will not be eating chocolate for 2 weeks. Um, but so tell
So
so
these
and
are these are Ayurvedic chocolates, by the way. So
they are Ayurvedic. Is that right? Oh, that's excellent. I will we have to look you up. My wife is a doctor of Ayurveda, so she's guiding me in this, and she's got a whole cohort. Different. We should have her on as a guest. Um,
That's right. Yeah.
she's wonderful, definitely. Um, Oh, but the other thing you said that we've talked about before, and I want to just get into it a little bit, and how you see it impacting your work is that what we've called the thinning of the veil between, conscious and unconscious, the opportunity of meditation to thin that veil so that that inner voice, that guiding hand, as Michael Singer would call it, is uh, more clearly heard.
yeah,
Bringing up the volume of that voice and lowering the volume of the frenetic mind, the ever going frenetic mind. And just curious how you've employed that, how you discovered that, and where that's leading you in your work.
that's a great question, Aaron. I don't think there was an element of doing there. It just started happening at some point of time. I didn't start that with the purpose or intention to go there. I wasn't sure. I just accidentally stumbled upon this meditation practice when I met this master from India, Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar, who was in New York back in 2004. And that was a very different time, right? There were no smartphones, people not talking about mental health or meditation or breathwork, or any of those. And I just stumbled upon that, and I felt like, wow, I want what this gentleman has.
Mm,
That stillness within, yet complete. dynamism and activity, and outside. That's a rare combination, and I thought that's worth cultivating in one's life. And that's when I started practicing the sky breath meditation, and um, the rest is history. It has been a gift that keeps on giving, and as an trader in my previous life, I would say it's probably the best investment I've made.
Wow.
So tell me about
Wow.
that. Tell me about the guru and the kind of meditation that is and how it differs from, standard mindfulness meditation or TM or any other schools of thought, any of the other ways in which someone could practice.
Yeah.
How's it
So
different?
it's more of an active form of meditation. It's a breath work that leads you to meditation. Oftentimes we close our eyes to meditate and we realize that it's so hard to meditate because all the thoughts just pop up, all the to-do lists come up from nowhere. And it's very hard to transcend. Um, you need a tool, a technique to get from your active mind into that space of stillness. And that tool is the breath, because the breath has an intimate relationship with your emotions and thoughts. Typically, your emotions have a rhythm in the breath. Like an angry person breathes in a certain way, as
Mm,
opposed to a person who is excited. You gasp when you're surprised. But the opposite is also true. You learn to modulate your breath in a certain way. The mind follows, and that's how you control the mind. And for me, this was but an intellectual concept, because I'd read all these books about power of now and this and that, but I didn't know what it really meant until I experienced that sky breath meditation and the power of breath to bring the mind in the now. And when the mind is more present, the mind is in the now, sort of it unlocks many things, including the creativity, including that clarity, focus, of course, energy and calm to go about making the toughest decisions, and also, like you said, um, that clarity or that um, fidelity of inner voice becomes much more, uh, you know, crystal clear to be perceived, and the ability to take risk and act upon it.
mm,
And this technique was cognized by Gurudev, Sri Ravi Shankar, um, and he went into a period of silence back in 80s. He has been teaching breath work and meditation since he was in his teens. He turns 70 next month. So he's been sort of teaching this now. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's spread across 182 countries, and some 800 million lives have been impacted. The numbers are staggering, and
mm,
just what inspired me to learn more about him and follow the path down the rabbit hole is just the sheer breadth and depth of the impact he's made on the world as just one person who, oftentimes I've thought, like, I'm just one guy, what can I do, but he's just completely turned uh, that upside down, and showed that, just that power of intention can can take you a long way. And so he started teaching this, and when I experienced it for the first time, it felt like it was the missing piece of the puzzle, in my life. I was working on, okay, I'm going to rewind a bit. I
yeah,
was I was working on Wall Street. Yeah, I'd come as an immigrant to this country, and I was studying, and I'd come to live the American dream, right? And um, you should be careful what you ask for, because it might just be given to you. So
Mm.
I started working in New York on, as in finance, and I was doing really well. Things were just going completely as expected or better than expected. And on one fine morning, I found myself in Twin Towers when the planes had hit. And that was a wake up call for me. I mean, the escape was nothing but miraculous, probably a story for another times. But it was kind of a wake up call that there had to be more to life than just chasing bonuses and titles and climbing up the corporate ladder. I didn't know what that was, but around that period, I met Gurudev and I learned sky breath meditation. And I felt like this was the answer I was looking for. That, you know, right now, as we see around us, and it has just progressively gone stronger or worse, if I can say, is the hustle culture. We
Yes.
just constantly go, 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 wanting to accumulate, acquire, sometimes not even sure if we really know what we know. I mean, what is it what we really want, or we do just because everyone else around us do it, and the peer pressure is
Mm.
so strong. But that ability to pause and reflect and say, what is it that I'm here to do really, and is this what I want to do? Is this what really makes me happy, or am I just doing because my neighbor is doing and my classmates are doing, and everybody has a different benchmark for success than you may have. So um, yeah,
And what came up for you in that? I'm curious, what was the answer? Like, what did you get as a, is this all there is? And like, what opened up for you?
it's a path I'm still walking. I'm still learning everything. Every day I'm learning more and more. But I guess the one of the biggest learnings was that um, everything matters, and at some level nothing matters.
Mm.
Just that one, just kind of treating this whole thing as a game, and
Yeah,
not as
yeah.
an intellectual concept, or not as a feel good thought, but truly as an inner experience. And that just makes the attachment to outcome a little less stronger, because I
Mm,
think the pain comes from that,
mm.
um, wanting to wanting it to land in a certain way, and when that doesn't happen, then you feel, oh darn it, where did I go wrong, and then that whole cycle begins. But when you play this as a game, I think it becomes fun. um, and it another thing I should say, my misconception about this whole breath work and meditation was that it can make you complacent. It's that it
Yeah.
is a pursuit for a later in life um, you know thing, like when you're done with all your achievements, all your responsibilities, then you go into Himalayas and meditate. These were all the thoughts that I had based on some wrong conditioning, and then I realized that it's exactly the opposite. It's like it gives you that rest, so you can go out in the world and play harder. In fact, some of my best work has come out after I learned this breath work and meditation, the sky breath. So it's fascinating, and it's Chris, I'm still learning every day.
Yeah. Can you speak to, I'm assuming that absolute intelligence, which maybe we could get, you could create or distinguish what that is, but is that a part of what you lean on to play the game? Like as you're playing this game,
it's
checking in with
actually
apps?
it's actually inherent to all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
these are the times of artificial intelligence, and everybody is kind of relentlessly depending on it more and more. But just to acknowledge that all that and everything that we know is actually the gift of the absolute intelligence, something that we've always had, that space of intuition, that space of clarity, that space of
Yeah.
calm that lives within all of us. And um, it's having the right decision at the right time comes from that space. And you can
Mm.
only but tap into that space when the turbulence in the mind has settled down a bit. If there's constant vacillation of the mind, which is always in the past or the future, or thinking about acquiring that or dropping this, there is no settling of the mind. And if the mind doesn't settle, then forget about tapping into this another dimension. So what I learned over a period of time as the practice got deeper is that we all have that space. It's not something you acquire.
Mhm.
It's the intelligence given by nature, which the seed has, and that's how it knows how to become a tree. And we all have that, but just that tapping into it requires, I feel, the right tools and techniques.
It's really, we talk about this is one of the most fascinating, interesting uh, ideas that, we both the misconceptions of meditation uh, that world in which it's for hippies or gurus, and you talk about your guru, and it immediately shows up like, well, that's clearly not for me because, I'm gonna wind up in robes and sitting cross-legged, and so it doesn't show up like it's a fit. Um, and that whole world, and then the opportunity of, you know, what it is, like you said, to I mean, no one no one thinks, oh well, sleep isn't important. I mean, oh, that's not true. People do think sleep is, they say I'll sleep when I'm dead. So even that, but no professional athlete thinks that. They know that
Yeah.
rest is critical to their body healing, and meditation is resting the brain. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the it's the source of your life. It's the most important organ. You can say anything you want about it. It's where everything comes from. And we have no practices in the West to rest it.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't even rest when we sleep.
Yeah.
It's
You're
dreaming, it's
absolutely right.
busy, it's doing all, you actually have to rest it.
Yeah.
Meditation is resting it. It's I don't know how, what your breath work practice, how long of a practice is it?
It takes about, there are a couple of modules to it, and it takes about 20 minutes a day.
20 minutes a day.
Um,
That's, I mean, that's what I train people in. 10 to 20 minutes a day is
yeah.
sufficient. And that seems like mind blowing to people. And then the number one argument is, I don't have that kind of time. I don't have time to meditate. You're fucking joking. You're tripping. You spend 30 minutes scrolling Instagram on the shitter. It's like
Yeah.
it's not a conversation worth having. And and yet for that period of time your brain changes in those ways. It's this is my favorite statistic to quote, but Tim Ferriss, who wrote Tools of Titans. Do you know that, familiar with his work? He has
I,
so he wrote Tools of Titans. He interviewed 200 top performers, billionaires, things like that. 85% of them have a mindfulness practice.
mm.
I mean, why are we still having this conversation in 2026 that meditation and mindfulness and breath work and the things that have a 3,000 year history of being effective at creating what's important, you're being present to life. Why are we having an argument with people that this is important stuff to learn how to do? It's not.
Aaron, I think somewhere also the Western marketing is also responsible for creating this thing that do I really need it? Because um, there have been like a lot of apps and a lot of like things that are tools out there which say that these are meditations or
Yes.
the guide meditations, but I beg to differ. You know, what I have understood and experienced over a period of time is meditation is the game of effortlessness. It's
Yes.
about doing absolutely nothing. Um, on some of these apps that go a little too far on mindfulness does not allow your mind to rest in itself. It's when you're mindful, you're still aware and you are paying whether attention to your breath or paying attention to thoughts or a sound or a sight, whatever it is in your mind, you're creating an image. It's a frontal cortex activity. And in that modality, the mind completely does not settle. And if it does not settle, how can it transcend
Mhm.
the, the sphere of thoughts? So I feel that sometimes people try it and say, "All right, I tried it, but probably it's not for me."
Yeah. Well,
So having the
it's
right tool is very very important in my
yeah.
mind.
And the app, it's interesting. Oh yeah, this is ready. Chris, get ready. I just wrote, this is my last post on Substack, was just about this thing. And I just took a note to go deeper on it, um, about why the apps don't work as a tool for learning to meditate. Because on one element of it is the person using the app, the person that goes, the ego that goes, oh, I need to take care, I need to fix myself, I need to transcend, that relationship to is now going to go use an app to try and transcend the thing that got it to use the app.
Hmm.
It's like trying to jumpstart your car with the batteries dead. It's not going to work. You can't approach it from, and there's no chance of picking up the app without that. So
Yeah,
without a teacher, without someone to guide you in the beginning stages of what it looks like, because invariably you'll get the new student gets the app or watches the video or does the thing on their own, and the aspect of that they're out to transform, that they're out to transcend, is judging their progress.
absolutely. Right said.
And it says, and that thing says, oh, this isn't it.
Yeah,
It inevitably says this isn't it because that's all you've been listening to is the, well, just call it ego for no particular, for no other word for it. But the ego is now in charge of getting the app, judging the effect. And it's, you need a teacher. You need someone on the outside to go, okay, that's the ego talking. You can't
yeah.
hear it on your own, and you're not going to hear it on an app. You can, I think the apps have a utility after you've made that separation between you and your ego, between, I think there's a utility there. Like you could use, like calming water sounds or binaural beats or something that, get, but you can't use it to make that initial split. I don't think you can use it to make the initial split.
I think there's the fine line between sort of relaxation and meditation,
Yeah.
and all these tools that are out there. I'm not saying all of them, but majority of
Yeah.
them give the sense of relaxation. I
Yes.
mean, since you brought
True.
up binaural beats and all that, and you feel settled, relaxed at some point, but the the tendencies of your mind don't. It doesn't help those, and so
Yes.
I think the minute you're out
Right.
of it, those things are going to come back with the same intensity, and you feel you haven't
Yeah.
made any progress. So probably this is not for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. I think it's a really important thing so, yeah, to separate those two phenomena that, and I do, but again, and I think that's an important part about having a teacher and what you value and having learned this process from someone who's walked that path before, from you having access to that because, oh, don't let me lose this thought. Oh, because one of the things that comes up when I teach people is meditation's not relaxing. They, I don't feel relaxed. I feel more agitated. And as the teacher, I get to go, good. Now feel that agitation. That's what's there is agitation. But if you don't have a teacher to say, that's right, that's the thing you're supposed to feel. Why? Because that's what you feel. But if you don't have someone saying that, the thing that got you to meditate, the mind that got you to meditate is going to say, well, this isn't it, because the mind that got you to meditate wants to thinks has some goal in mind, and it's almost always a transcendent, relaxed, elevated state that's not likely to happen in the first month of meditating.
Yeah,
So it's really,
that was,
really critical.
you're so right, and I actually came with those that very strong preconditioning like that
Mhm.
when I approached meditation.
Yeah.
Um, but that's why this active form of meditation is for people like me who have very very active mind, sometimes like
Mhm.
almost frenetic mind, who's like thinking of seven things all at once and wanting to
Mhm.
solve all of them. And so something like your breath, which when employed in certain rhythms can just completely annihilate all these thoughts and just settle the mind. And
Yeah.
that was a beautiful experience. For the first time, you know, like you said, right? Having an understanding is one thing, and having an experience of that understanding is completely
100%. And the ego just wants to understand. I mean, I've led
exactly.
programs.
It just wants that
I,
knowledge.
I've led programs for people where they want to understand why their marriage doesn't work. They don't want their marriage to work. They just want to understand why it doesn't. And that's because that's an engineering thing. I mean, you lead the work that I lead, some of the other work that I lead in Seattle, and they're all engineers and they want to understand this and they want to understand that. there's no seek the experience, which is the why meditation, what's one of the benefits of meditation is it picks up the volume on intuitive knowledge, like the things but not know. John Cleese, I was listening to John Cleese on Substack. Fuck, that's three Substack references and no CrossFit references. It's the new CrossFit. It's the new CrossFit for sure. It's the new CrossFit. Um, uh, he was talking about how English only has one word for no. French has two words. German has two words. Knowing intellectually and knowing how to ride a bike. We don't. We only have to know in English.
Mm.
Um, and that's problematic because there's two kinds of knowledge.
Yeah,
There's the knowledge of understanding, which is not unimportant. It's just not the only kind of knowledge. There's the
yeah,
knowledge of beyond understanding. There's the knowledge that's required to ride a bike. The joke John Cleese tells is about the engineer who wants to learn how to swim. So he gets books on swimming and he goes down to the stream and he listens to the stream and he reads the book on swimming and now he knows how to swim, and he gets in and he drowns, obviously. Um, because there's two kinds of knowledge. And if you're not seeking both, you're living half a life. You're living one-armed
exactly.
life.
There's a connection. I want to make a connection here, Aaron.
Yeah.
Kushal. So if I put this in a scenario context, where let's for the example, let's say I want to be healthier, like the food I eat, the movements I make in my body, I want to be more healthy. You listening to this could substitute that with you want to make more money or you want to, there's whatever goal you have for yourself. But let's say I want to, there's the trying to understand it, like you're saying, Aaron, like reading books about it, like, oh, well, but then there's I'm just curious, Kushal, from where you sit, like, how do I marry these worlds of getting mindful and meditating and using that as a lever to move me in the direction of the game I'm playing called being healthier.
Yeah, I think there are two aspects to it. There's an aspect
Mm.
of doing, and then there's an aspect of being. I
Yes.
mean, meditation does not mean that you just sit and with your eyes closed and contemplate on the thoughts all day and hoping that things around you just organize itself in place. No, that's a wrong understanding. There's a concept of um, putting an effort and then letting go. It's like when you're boarding the train, you run to the platform at the right time and make sure you're on the right platform, and then you board the train. But once you're on the train, you don't run up and down the train. It's not going to get you there any faster, right? So I really feel like
Oh, it's such a
most
good
of
one. Oh, I'm stealing that metaphor. God, I love that one.
most of us come from that like this kind of this culture around us kind of prepares you just for thinking that I have to be in action all the time, every moment. But knowing when to let go is what meditation taught me. And when that happens, like you were saying, people say they don't have time, but when you do that, when you let go, you make time. When you meditate, I feel that allows you to create more
100%.
time in your life, and that 20 minutes of calm just opens up another hour of clarity where you can get a lot more work done, and the clarity of thoughts, and that's just so much more precise and clear. So I don't think it's a luxury anymore. I mean, people may say they don't have time, or people may say it's not the thing for them, but given what we are consuming, kind of the impressions we are gathering every second, and only at the rapidly increasing clip, I think it's not something one must take it lightly anymore.
Yeah. No, I think that's spot on. It's so, you know, um, I just got back from a tantric workshop with my wife. Spent a week doing it, and um, I was talking. We were driving home, and we were talking to her mom on the way home, and we told her we signed up for in another week in November, a different training, the next level of the training, and she was I was commenting what I like about it, and I think it's something that we don't practice enough, regardless of whether or not Tantra is your path or not. Um, but it keep for me that keeps the most important thing the most important thing. And I don't think we do that. I don't think we have any practices around because if you ask people what the most important thing is, it's very rarely closing that next deal. It's the thing that you're going to think of on your deathbed isn't, you know, the zeros, you have on your spreadsheet or it's just not. It's just not. And we know that intellectually. And some of us, and some of us it takes a heart attack or someone great in our life dying for us to get that, or, you know, some momentary lightning bolt tragedy. Tragedy will bring that out. Something
Right. I
tragedy.
mean, it's funny. Sometimes I think that it's so um, strange and funny that one has to go through some sort of a wake up call, or sometimes a rude wake up call like this, in order to wake up to the reality.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why doesn't nature make it easier? But I guess that's how it is.
we could ask why does it make it easier? So just from a this is just my interpretation of Daniel Kahneman's take on that question. Our behavioral cognitive biases that keep us in this perpetual state of seeking more,
Hmm.
right? Which is what we're in, right? And one of the things that this has been really useful because I've been jotting down little notes here, but like the problem of seeking more, seeking enough, that game of seeking enough, which has no top, versus seeing
Hmm.
enough. That's the game, right? That's the game. That's the real game is seeing that I have enough. And we're built to survive. The machine is built to survive. The amygdala, all of it is designed. If the bush rustles, assume it's a tiger, run. And those who assumed it was a tiger and ran reproduced. And those that thought, well, maybe, it's a friendly bunny, they died. They didn't get a chance to reproduce. So our cognitive biases, the heuristics that we use, which are all the things that are at play in the scrolling and all the things, shiny object, let's look, are part of the mechanism that's designed to keep us alive. We're built to survive. We're not built to thrive. That's why nature did it. But it is possible. And it's not that fucking hard. It's just not that hard to get out of it. You just need to be willing to take a breath.
You couldn't have put it simply, and once you experience that, the access you get to the other dimensions, the gifts that you unlock. I mean, you know, there's this whole institute that Gurudev has established called Institute of Absolute Intelligence, where children are trained. I mean, it's much easier for children to pick it up because they are not bombarded with the
Right.
impressions of the world. Um, as they go in deeper into meditation, they unlock all these abilities to read with blindfold, or
Mm,
even play games using their blindfold. Like, I've seen kids doing incredible things. They download languages that they've never spoken into, or they've never been exposed to. It's absolutely marvelous because, you know, the global workspace theory says that all this knowledge is in the consciousness.
mm,
It's out there, and the brain is just the receiver and transmitter of that intelligence out there.
right.
And so science is now catching up, but the ancient seers knew that, and just
Yes.
by tapping into that space of calm, you can get access to um, this wisdom, this reality, which also gives you an ability to see through time, and that's what is scanning. You know,
It's,
it's incredible.
yeah. No, it's,
That's so good. That reminds me of the telepathy tapes, Aaron. I was just thinking about Kushal. Have
yes.
you heard of the telepathy tapes, Kushal?
Yeah, the kids on the telepathy tapes were
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
intuition program. Yes.
Yes, yes. It just kind of reminds me like, just tapping into that consciousness and being able to communicate without having to use words. It's just, like you said, those higher dimensions becoming available to the seed that you said, like we all come from that same seed of
Yeah.
absolute intelligence. We just need to tap into it, like that's all available.
I think the last episode of last year was on this intuition process, the children who
Hmm.
have trained in the Institute of Absolute Intelligence on telepathy tapes. Like it's a
Oh, nice.
fascinating episode. Just I invite you to see that.
That's
But you're
so
right.
cool.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's you know, one of the things that I've been advocating for that I as a practice in terms of tapping into that absolute intelligence. Like what are, in addition to meditation, but just living mindfully um is an access there. It's just I've taken a practice of if the voice tells me go grab your headphones, like I'm on my way out the door, and the voice will say go grab your headphones. And then my normal response is I'm already out the fucking door. I don't need headphones. I know what I'm doing today. I don't need headphones. I'm not going to do it. Right. Or I will make it a point to go back and get the headphones.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, pick up that piece of trash. I'll see a piece of trash on the ground, and my thought will be pick it up. And then the next immediate thought is, you don't have fucking time for that. That's not your trash. Why would you do that? Like the immediate argument not to bother.
Yeah.
Um, I've just been taking to honoring that. Like if my little voice says, call someone, call your brother or whatever, just stop and call your brother. Just it,
Yeah.
it, I, I mean, there could be some, mystical, it honors the voice, but then there could also just be the practical. You're paying attention to what's already always been there. How
Yeah.
many times do you do something stupid or you forget the keys or you forget your wallet and you think, oh, I fucking thought of that. I knew all the time.
Yeah.
I knew that. I had that thought before I left the house. Should I check, the stove? No, it's fine. No, you had the thought. It was speaking to you, right? Red flags on people, and then there's that line, same kind of thin line between relaxation and meditation is there's a thin line between honoring the little voice and just being paranoid or just being, overthinking something. And
Mm.
but meditation will help you sort out which side of the line those are on too, I think.
Absolutely. And I feel those kind of things are just the benefits of like they're like about 100 documented benefits of meditation.
Yes,
It's just like I call these all the special effects, that
right.
come with the meditation. So
Yeah, it's
That's
very
so
good.
good. That might be a
Cool.
good place to wrap it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's hit it there.
Kushal, if people want to learn more about the art of living or any of the work that you're up to in the world, or even buy some chocolates, how do people connect with you? How do they find you?
on my LinkedIn or Instagram or yeah, I guess I can share my information with you guys that you can put it in the show notes and
Okay. Yeah. We'll put that in the
Great.
show
Yeah,
notes. I
do
love
that.
that.
Yeah, share your information and yeah, great. After we close, we'll show you what's coming. So, Michelle, thank you so much for your time. I love this conversation. Really appreciate the work you're doing and appreciate your appreciating our work. Thank you.
thank you.
So good. Thanks, everybody. All right. We'll catch you next time. If you like this show, make sure to leave a review and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.